Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders are entering what could be described as the most pivotal offseason in recent memory, and the early moves already signal seismic shifts within the organization. Head coach Dan Quinn, who took over just 2 seasons ago, has made some immediate and shocking changes, demonstrating that he is not afraid to make bold decisions. Almost immediately after the 2025 season ended, Quinn decided to part ways with his longtime right-hand man, defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr., a figure many assumed would be safe under Quinn's leadership. At the same time, in a move that left the NFL world buzzing, the Commanders also decided to move on from offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. These decisions alone are headline-grabbing, but they are just the opening chapters in what promises to be a roller coaster offseason for Washington. The ripple effects of these firings extend far beyond the coordinators themselves, as they have put the franchise in a position where every decision from this point forward will carry tremendous weight, and the latest developments around John Harbaugh could very well change the trajectory of the entire team. The shockwaves began when news broke that the Baltimore Ravens had parted ways with John Harbaugh, a coach who has been synonymous with consistent success, playoff appearances, and a winning culture for nearly 2 decades. Harbaugh's availability is the kind of event that only comes around once in a generation, and it instantly forced teams across the league to reconsider their offseason plans. The Commanders, who have been grappling with questions about the long-term viability of their head coach and the overall structure of their roster, now face a tantalizing opportunity that could reshape their future. The debate is immediate and intense. Should the Commanders even consider pursuing Harbaugh, or do they stay the course with Quinn, who has seen both highs and lows in his brief tenure? While Quinn's job security appears relatively intact for now, murmurs of internal turbulence have surfaced, and General Manager Adam Peters must weigh his options carefully. If there is even a hint of doubt about Quinn's ability to lead this team to sustain success, it is Peters' responsibility to at least explore whether a coach of Harbaugh's caliber could be enticed to Washington, especially when you consider the new dynamics the franchise has established in just a short period. Looking at the situation from Harbaugh's perspective, there are numerous compelling reasons he might consider Washington as an attractive landing spot. The Commanders have essentially cleared the deck on their coaching staff, moving on from both coordinators, which leaves the door wide open for a new head coach to come in and make an immediate impact. This is an unusual scenario in the NFL, where typically a change at the coordinator level signals instability or a transitional period. Washington, however, is offering a unique environment. A young franchise quarterback in Jayden Daniels, who has already shown flashes of elite talent, combined with new ownership, a respected front office led by Peters, a new stadium under construction, and complete control over the coaching staff and roster decisions. In short, Harbaugh would not be walking into a chaotic situation. He would be entering an organization willing to provide resources, stability, and a clear vision for the future. Peters has made it clear that his coaching staff has significant input in roster building, and this level of autonomy is precisely the kind of situation that top-tier coaches like Harbaugh crave. It is important to emphasize that this does not necessarily mean the Commanders should fire Quinn. There is value in continuity, and Quinn has proven capable of leading a team to a winning record when circumstances align. However, in the high-stakes environment of the NFL, due diligence is critical. If there is even a slight possibility that bringing in Harbaugh could accelerate the team's trajectory and capitalize on the existing talent, Peters must explore it. Consider the potential combination: Harbaugh as the head coach, Todd Monken as offensive coordinator, and Daniels as the franchise quarterback. This scenario is tantalizing because it merges elite coaching experience with innovative offensive strategy and a quarterback who is entering his prime, offering what could realistically be a blueprint for success for the next decade. Ignoring this opportunity simply because it disrupts the status quo would be a dereliction of duty for a general manager, especially in a league where windows of opportunity can close in the blink of an eye. Turning to the offensive side of the equation, the decision to part ways with Kingsbury was fueled by specific philosophical differences with Quinn. As reported by Grant Paulson from 106.7 The Fan in Washington, D.C., one of Quinn's central issues with Kingsbury centered on the balance between the run and pass game. Quinn, seeking a more traditional approach that could better support Jayden Daniels' development, decided that a change was necessary. This represents a stark pivot from 2024, a season in which Kingsbury's offense was 5th in the NFL in points scored and 7th in total yardage, numbers that would make any coordinator proud. At that time, it seemed like a perfect marriage between Quinn's coaching philosophy and Kingsbury's innovative offensive mind. Yet, the unpredictability of the NFL struck. Daniels suffered injuries, playing in only 7 games during the 2025 season, and the offense fell dramatically, finishing 22nd in both points and total yardage. The decline was stark, and someone had to be held accountable for the drop-off. Ultimately, it was Kingsbury who bore the brunt of the responsibility, illustrating how quickly fortunes can change in professional football, where one season can rewrite the narrative entirely. To understand the impact on Daniels, it is critical to look at the numbers. As a rookie, he threw for 3,568 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions while also adding 891 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. This established him as one of the most dynamic young quarterbacks in the league, capable of both passing and running at an elite level. However, the following season was a stark contrast. Daniels managed only 1,262 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, with 278 rushing yards and 2 additional rushing scores. The drop-off was dramatic, and while injuries played a role, the lack of offensive cohesion and a balanced scheme contributed significantly to the team's struggles. This contextualizes why Quinn felt the need to make a change at offensive coordinator. He needed someone whose approach aligned more closely with his vision and who could help Daniels fully realize his potential as the face of the franchise. From a broader perspective, the Commanders' offseason is shaping up to be a high-stakes chess match. The firing of 2 coordinators without removing the head coach is uncommon in the NFL, and it signals that the organization is willing to take calculated risks to position itself for long-term success. The availability of Harbaugh adds another layer of complexity, introducing the possibility of not just incremental improvement, but a transformational shift. NFL insiders, including Adam Schefter, are already suggesting that more significant moves could be on the horizon, particularly for franchises willing to make bold decisions. For Washington, the question becomes one of ambition versus stability. Do they continue on their current path with Quinn and hope incremental improvements lead to playoff contention? Or do they pursue a proven winner in Harbaugh and potentially reshape the franchise's identity overnight? These decisions will not just define the 2026 season. They will shape the trajectory of the Commanders for years to come. Ultimately, the Commander situation underscores the volatility and drama inherent in the NFL. One season's triumph can be followed by the next season's disappointment, and every decision carries enormous weight. With the combination of a young quarterback with elite potential, a front office willing to back its coaching staff, a new stadium, and the sudden availability of a coaching legend in John Harbaugh, Washington is standing at a crossroads. The choices made over the coming weeks will reverberate throughout the league, and fans will be watching every move closely. Whether Quinn remains at the helm or Harbaugh steps in, the 2026 offseason promises to be unforgettable, filled with intrigue, speculation, and the kind of high-stakes drama that makes the NFL the most compelling sport in the world. In the end, one thing is clear. The Commanders are not simply playing checkers this offseason. They are playing chess at the highest level, and every piece moved will be critical to the ultimate goal of building a championship-caliber team. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. The word around the league right now is buzzing in that familiar low hum that only true off-season rumors create. And if you listen closely, you can almost hear it growing louder with every passing hour. Inside Washington circles, the chatter is that the Commanders have quietly zeroed in on a receiver who has scouts leaning forward in their chairs and defensive backs shaking their heads before the snap is even taken. The name being whispered with more confidence each day is Jordan TYSON, a wideout some evaluators are already calling unguardable in the right system. And the belief is that this pairing with Jayden could turn into something explosive faster than most people expect. This is not being framed as a formal announcement or a lock etched in stone, but the sense is that the decision has been made in principle, and now everyone is waiting for the moment it becomes public. From what is circulating among insiders, the Commanders see Tyson as a chess piece rather than just another pass catcher. The front office reportedly loves how he manipulates leverage, how he sells routes with his eyes and shoulders, and how he creates separation in spaces that should not exist. The phrase that keeps coming up is that defenders look glued to him until suddenly they are not, and by then the ball is already arriving. For a team that has been searching for a true identity on offense, this kind of player represents a potential shift in philosophy, a move towards stressing defenses horizontally and vertically at the same time. People close to the situation suggest that Washington believes Tyson can be moved around the formation, keeping opponents guessing and preventing them from keying in on predictable tendencies. What makes this rumor even juicier is the perceived fit with Jayden. Around the building, the idea is that Jayden thrives when he can trust a receiver to be exactly where he expects, at exactly the right moment, even when the play breaks down. Tyson's reputation as a route technician and an instinctive mover apparently checks that box in bold ink. The speculation is that the Commanders envision a connection built on timing, anticipation, and a shared understanding of spacing that cannot be easily coached. When a quarterback and receiver start thinking the same way, without having to communicate verbally, defenses are usually the ones left reacting instead of dictating. There's also talk that this move would signal a larger cultural change for the Commanders. Rather than chasing the loudest name or the flashiest highlight reel, the organization seems focused on players who elevate everyone around them. Tyson is being described by sources as a worker, someone who studies coverages obsessively and treats practice reps like game situations. That kind of mentality is reportedly valued highly by the current coaching staff, which wants to build an offense that punishes mistakes with precision rather than relying solely on improvisation. If this rumor holds weight, it suggests Washington is prioritizing reliability and football intelligence just as much as raw athletic ability. Of course, every rumor has its skeptics, and some voices around the league are urging caution. They point out that projecting a college receiver into immediate stardom is always risky, especially when expectations start to balloon before the player ever takes a professional snap. Still, even those skeptics acknowledge that Tyson's skill set is intriguing and that the Commanders might be one of the better landing spots for him if the plan truly revolves around maximizing his strengths. The idea floating around is that Washington would not ask him to be everything at once, but would instead let his role grow organically as chemistry with Jayden develops. Another layer to this speculation involves how defenses might be forced to respond. If Tyson really is as difficult to cover as advertised, opposing coordinators would have to decide whether to commit extra attention his way or risk leaving him isolated. Either choice could open opportunities elsewhere on the field, which is exactly what modern offenses crave. The rumor mill suggests that the Commanders see this as a ripple effect move, one that could simplify reads for Jayden and create cleaner looks for the entire unit. In that sense, Tyson is being viewed not just as a receiver, but as a catalyst. Fans, as expected, are already running with the idea. Social media chatter paints visions of perfectly timed throws, defenders grasping at air, and a quarterback smiling as he jogs back to the huddle. While none of this is official, the excitement feels organic, driven by the belief that Washington might finally be aligning its talent with a coherent vision. Longtime followers of the team know how rare that feeling has been, which is why this rumor has legs. It taps into a desire for something new, something dynamic, something that feels intentional rather than reactive. Behind closed doors, the belief is that conversations have gone beyond surface-level evaluations. There is speculation that the Commanders have already mapped out how Tyson would be integrated from day one, identifying packages and concepts designed specifically to showcase what he does best. This kind of preparation fuels the notion that the decision is more than casual interest. It feels like the kind of planning that happens when a team is confident in its target and wants to hit the ground running. At the end of the day, until the move is officially confirmed, this remains a rumor, a tantalizing possibility floating just out of reach. But in the world of professional football, where smoke often signals fire, the consistency of these whispers is hard to ignore. If the Commanders do indeed choose Jordan TYSON, the narrative will immediately shift to what he and Jayden can become together. And if even a fraction of this speculation proves true, Washington fans might be on the verge of witnessing the birth of one of the league's most talked about connections, the kind that starts as a rumor and ends as a weekly spectacle. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.